Here's how I went from this to this, but more importantly, from this to this. I learned how to change my habits and I completely reinvented myself. I learned how to wake up early, create a morning routine, how to build a workout habit, and I lost 25 pounds. I learned how to create healthy eating habits without dieting or restricting myself. I learned how to be kind to myself and love myself. I created a 6-week course teaching you exactly how to change your life and become that it girl. So whether you want to sign up or follow along, I would love to teach you how to go from sad to savage.
Hi, Shelby. How are you?
I'm so good. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm so excited to have you on. So can you tell the audience just a little bit about you and your journey?
Yes, my name is Shelby Sacco. I'm 26 and I'm from Michigan. I teach habits and routines on TikTok and on Instagram.
What inspired you to start teaching people habits?
I hit a really low point in 2020. I feel like a lot of people could probably relate to that. And I felt like I was at rock bottom. 2 of my younger siblings were also struggling with their mental health. And me struggling, when I was struggling, it kind of gave me a glimpse into how they were actually feeling and thinking. And it really scared the life out of me. And so I wanted to find something that would help me so I can in turn help them. I don't know how I ended up picking up a book, the first book I ever decided to read on habits. And from there, it kind of took off. I trusted the science. I really dove into it and it has completely changed my life, my sister's, and now I've been able to help other people change their life with the information too.
So what made you want to say, let me hop on TikTok and start telling people this?
So when I started my journey, I started it in July of 2020, and I didn't start teaching it in TikTok until January of 2022. So in that big gap of time, I was testing it in my own life and trying it and learning and seeing the actual change it made in my mental health and my physical health. After I started teaching my sisters, I started teaching it on Instagram. And so many people were responding to it. I think because there was such a lack of people struggling and the transparency around it, where it opened my eyes up to it. And I remember I went on TikTok one day and I looked up habits and I was like, there's no one talking about this. Like people just showing this beautiful life and no one's explaining how you actually get there, like how to form the habits, how to change your life. And so I made a video one day, kind of like sassy, like frustrated that no one else was doing it. And it took off from there.
You have almost 1.5 million followers, am I right?
Yes, on TikTok.
How long did that take you to gain that many people to follow you?
I gained 1 million in my first year. So I started January of last year and gained 1 million by, I think it was like December 27th. So really that year span. And then I feel like I've just been growing ever since. It's so cool.
What's your content creation process? How many videos do you post a week or day? What's that look like for you?
I'm always changing my strategy. I'm like very, very strategic. I think it is so much fun. But a lot of what I like to post are series. So people will find me from specific videos, whether it's they want to learn how to wake up early or create healthy eating habits or physical fitness habits. And so they'll see all these videos, but then have questions like, oh, how do I do a morning routine or a nighttime routine? So I'll typically every couple months do a series where I teach it all the way through. And then I'll share different content. I try to post almost every single day, which is so much fun, but I'll sit and like, for example, I'm doing a Savage Girl summer series right now, and I planned that for 3 months, where like every single video was like down to a T, planned out, my podcast aligned, everything was like super structured. So I take it very, very serious, but I like it. I think it's fun.
Yeah. So I know you have that series From Sad to Savage. Is that what it is?
So my podcast is called Sad to Savage, and that actually happened super organically. In my first video that went viral, I was like, I went from sad to savage. And people kept commenting, being like, oh my God, that's amazing. So I literally trademarked it, turned it into a business, started that as my 6-week class. And now that's kind of what I'm known for on TikTok, teaching people how to go from sad to savage, because that's what I did with my own journey.
I love that for you. What made you want to transition to a podcast too?
I took one class online on how to create a podcast and I just did it the next day. But I wanted to do that because I'd get so many questions, because TikTok, you can only talk for so long. Mm-hmm. Same with Instagram. You can really only get the information out with a set guideline. And I like the idea of being able to go super, super in depth into a topic. And so I thought, oh, a podcast is perfect. I love listening to them. I love audiobooks. Like that's going to be a great way for me to actually explain and help people who want to get that information.
We'll play a little game. I'm going to give you a scenario and you tell me how I can transform my life or change that habit.
Okay. I love this.
I tell myself I'm going to go to the gym, but I never make it. How do I change that habit?
Now, there's a few ways to look at this one. What I would say is find a time that can be consistent. So, for example, I work out in the morning. I know that doesn't work for everyone, but you want to take away any excuse that you could give yourself of, oh, I worked late, or oh, I'm going to dinner with this person, or oh, I'd rather just do this. You want to find a consistent time. But what I would say is you want to fill in the habit loop. So, for example, say you want to start with a daily walk. Because when we create habits, you want to create something that's realistic and sustainable. You don't want to say, I'm going to go to the gym 5 times when you haven't gone to the gym in a few years, because that'd be really overwhelming and really stressful. So I'd say pick a specific cue, routine, reward, and start with the daily walk. The key would be, say, right after work at 6 p.m., Monday through Friday. Then I would pick the routine, which I'd get very specific with and say, I'm going to put on my shoes. Right when I walk in the door from work, I'm going to put on my shoes, put on my clothes that I laid out on the kitchen table, and I'm going to go outside and walk for 10 or 20 minutes. And then your reward is not only are you doing something for your physical health, but you're doing something for your mental health, because you're also following through on that promise to go to the gym. You're doing something for you.
That's such great advice. So when you start a habit, how long does it take to ingrain that in your brain?
So some studies will say it takes 3 weeks. Some will say it's like 55 days. Some say 90. From my specific perspective, I think that every single person, the habits that they've created in their lives are based off of them, right? Their environment that they were raised in, their opinions, their values, their qualities, maybe based off religion, their family, where they went to school. And so I think everyone is different and you can't really put a timeline on it. For example, I was raised in I say I'm a basement child because I was raised in the basement. Like my room was down there from like 9 to 22. So I never had a nighttime routine. So my parents were upstairs. They thought I was asleep and I was watching TV. So for me, always. So for me, a nighttime routine was the hardest habit in the world. It took me like 4 months to get to a place where I felt like I was finally on track understanding it. Whereas I did sports in high school and in college. So when I wanted to create the habit of working out after not doing it for 2 years, it clicked after 2 weeks. So really there is no time frame, but what I would say is that every single person is different based on who they are, and that they shouldn't compare themselves to others, because some will click really easily and then some will be harder. And it's going to be different for every person.
So what can people expect from you next? You've got these followers, you've got a podcast, and you're doing great on social media. What can we expect next?
I've been writing a book for 2 years. So that is my next big kind of thing. I've been going crazy though. I have like 750 pages. And I'm like, I don't want it to be that long, but I just have so much to say and so many thoughts. So that will definitely, I think my goal is by next year to have it done and published, but that's the next thing for me.
That's incredible. I'm so excited to read the book. I'm sure it'll be amazing. What advice could you give someone that wants to be an influencer or go down a similar path as you?
The advice that I would give someone else that wants to be an influencer is to start sharing the little things that you think no one would care about, and just stop worrying about the judgment of others. Because if you make choices based on other people, you're not really living your life.
That's such great advice. Well, Shelby, thank you so much for coming on. I've been influenced today, and I'm so excited for you and your journey.
Well, thank you so much. It was so great getting to talk to you.
Hey, I'm Justine Baker. Thanks for watching this episode of I've Been Influenced. You can find more videos like this on our YouTube, social media, website, and everywhere you get your podcasts. Make sure you subscribe and follow our channel so you never miss a video.